Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian and welcome to 3305. This is where I take a look at the news and happenings in and around Elite Dangerous. This week, Frontier opens up registrations for player minor factions. We get a report out of Frontier's AGM, and Frontier confirmed the correct version of the Scourge logo. Frontier have now opened up registrations for player minor factions. In a forum post made today, all of the details were made available on exactly what this means and how players can go about joining in. Essentially, this new registration will allow players to request a minor faction within the game itself. Minor factions, of course, are the in-game groups, corporations or otherwise, that vie for control in any specific star system. The game contains tens of thousands of these factions, and all of them are in a constant state of change as their influence within the area of their control grows or recedes. Players then will again gain the ability to become a player minor faction, and these, to all intents and purposes, are identical to NPC minor factions. However, in this case, the players will be able to choose the name of the faction and then support its growth and development. There are a number of requirements to register for a player minor faction, and acceptance as a faction is not guaranteed. Applications are made to Frontier and they will accept or decline at their discretion. In order to be considered for a minor faction, players need to have a player group or a squadron that contains at least 10 members. Whilst the group will also be able to choose the name of the faction, the name will need to be related to elite lore and fiction. Other limitations state that symbols must not be used, nor any name that will break the game's terms of service. Players will then be able to choose where the minor faction is located by selecting 3 different star systems, and Frontier will then choose one of these locations. Bottom line then, here's Frontier's bullet point list for what this will offer players. The name of your minor faction will show up in a system of your choosing along with the description you provided. You will have to manage your minor faction's economy, influence and so forth within the system. Other commanders will be able to work with or against your minor faction, and therefore your minor faction will be subject to the actions and functions of the background simulation. Minor factions will be added with preset values, and you will be required to build up your minor faction. We will not jumpstart your minor faction. So for more information on this, do have a look at the link in the video description where it will show you everything you need to know. Now this next one is going to be a little different, as I don't usually quote people on Twitter that are not directly at least connected to Elite Dangerous or Frontier. However, this one is especially interesting, and I suspect a lot of people would like to hear about it. Do keep in mind though that this is third-hand information, although I have no reason to doubt the original poster. In short, Frontier recently held their latest AGM, where they discussed both the company itself and its games with investors. Twitter user Invested Geordie recently posted a write-up on the event, and it's certainly worth a read-through. I'll link it in the video description, as it gives some insight as to Frontier's thoughts on their current and future status. All of this in itself, however, wouldn't necessarily be newsworthy of a 3305 episode, but one point in particular did stand out, and I will quote that part now. Talking to David Braben then, the poster stated that I asked if Elite Dangerous was his baby. He said they're all his babies, but that Elite was his firstborn. David assured me that the codebase will be renewed via a paid expansion, and this is great news as the QA team aren't picking up bugs it seems. This may be a CI/PD pipeline issue, but I feel after speaking with the board, modern engineering practices are very well embedded, and this is rather that the product codebase needs to be rationalized, and the paid update will fix current and future ills. So, personally speaking then, I think this is very interesting indeed. There's been a lot of speculation over the past 18 or so months that the 2020 paid update will be a rewrite for Elite Dangerous code, and this would certainly go a long way to suggest that this may possibly indeed be the case. However, that would be interpreting that renewed actually means rewritten, so as usual we'll have to wait and see. Again, do keep in mind that this is not official confirmation directly from Frontier, but of course it is also open to interpretation. One of the problems with Frontier releasing so little information about what 2020 will actually bring the game is that, well, basically we're left grasping at any little bit of information that we receive. Also, thanks to Stuart GT for the heads up on this one. The end of the previous interstellar initiative, the Scourge, rewarded all players who participated with a cosmetic item in the form of a decal. Unfortunately, as mentioned last week, this item had to be temporarily removed from the game as it was causing the game to crash in specific circumstances. Alongside this issue, players have noticed that the logo itself seems to have some problems, most notably that the logo in-game is not the same as the one Frontier previewed. So you can see the two images here side by side. Frontier have since confirmed that the in-game image is the correct version. That then brings us to the end of this episode of 3305. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.